everyone, so today we will continue with building the moving doll. So if you're new to this channel, what I'm talking about is my latest stamp set, and basically you can create these cute girl illustrations and pose them and make them look like moving dolls. So today I'm going to go through and show you how you could create different body shapes as well as poses, and we are probably not going to be able to cover every single possibility, but I will show you a few to start off with, and that will hopefully get you going. So we've done in the previous tutorial, we've done the face, and basically I have shown you how to create a color palette, and this is from the other stamp set that I have released together with moving dolls. So this is the Color Theory. Color Theory has been sold out, and so I'm restocking it, and it will be back in stock in the beginning of October. There are still some available of the moving doll. Together with the restock, I will also be restocking the FOTD, because that has been sold out a long time ago, but I think it was like second or third restock, and I did a little break between restocking it, but there have been a lot of demand for it and requests, and so I'm bringing it back for those of you who asked. Okay, so today we will focus on the body part, and I will show you a couple of examples that I have already done, and you'll see that here, by the way, this is one of the illustrations I did with the FOTD, which is fully compatible with the moving doll, so you can actually merge the stamp sets together. So here is a kind of like a simple pose, which we will probably start with, and then you can start getting a bit of movement in there, and you can create some quirky postures, some playful postures, and or you can sort of also dress them, and the dresses will be for the next session, but for today we're just going to create the bodies. Also in the session when I will show you how to create little outfits and dresses for them, I will also show how to create a longer body, because in this instance when you have a dress there, then you can play around. So if you created a longer dress, you could also create a more elongated body shape. So if you were interested in creating slightly bigger dolls, you could do that. Otherwise, I will show you how to play with these. Also, here are a couple more examples, a bit more playful. So there are the side views. You can see also some of them are a bit more voluptuous and others are a bit more slimmer, and so you can play with that. That's basically what we will explore today. And this is the actual size of the finished illustration, so they are great for if you're working in an A5, probably would be the smallest size of a journal I would recommend, because you want a little bit more space left for potential, you know, hair or slightly elongating the body. But other than that, this is the size. Okay, so let's start. So I will use a acrylic block. This is my own. I have another one available, which is this one, so a smaller one. I kind of like using both of them, and then what I will do is also use a bit of Tattered rose. This is my kind of style of stamping. What I do is I line everything over. But if you wanted a faster approach, you could totally stamp with a waterproof black ink, and that would be enough. Okay, so today we're not concentrating on the face. So here is how I would start. I would kind of think of the format of your sketchbook and basically leave a little bit of space for the hair if you wanted to do the hair. I'm going to put 3 heads here just so we could play with a bit of postures. I'll do 4 actually. So that's a starting point, and then what I would do is start with the neck. So the neck is under, so if I show you this way, it's under the lips. That's the neck part. You could use it either way. You could rotate it and use it that way if you prefer it. It really doesn't matter. So you could also stamp it, you know, it doesn't have to be straight, depending what posture you're going for. Okay. And it even doesn't matter if you stamp it with a larger gap, because everything will be lined out later. And if you make a mistake, so to speak, there isn't any mistakes really, but if you do make one, then you can always, you know, work at it later on. The body part is right underneath. So if you look at this arrangement here, that's your body. So that's the top part, that's the lower part, this is the top part of the leg, lower part of the leg, and the feet. And then you can substitute the, again under the head, you can see the alignment here. Same thing, the top part, but it's faced one or the other way. You could also actually rotate them if you wanted them to the other side. So if you wanted this body part facing the other way, just rotate it upside down. And then you can use these bits depending on which side, because this one is faced that way and this one is faced this way. And then we have the tie, again the top part of the leg and the lower part of the leg. So they are a little bit different in terms of length and width and different shapes of them. And so in the middle here you have the arm parts. Now these kind of could be the top parts, and these could be the lower parts, but then you could use all 3 of them as a top part, and this is a lower part. You can really play around. You can also even substitute some of the bottom parts of the legs, because really they are quite similar shapes. They're just slightly different to get you started. And then next to the feet you have hands. So it should be straightforward and easy to understand. So let's start with the simple body shape first. So we have the triangle here, and what I'm gonna do is just put this one like that, and I'll use the same one, but this time I'll play around a little bit and I'll see if I can tilt things and be more playful with it. So that's what I will do here for you. And then on this side here, next to it, we have the lower part of the body. Nice and simple, just underneath it. And this way I could start playing. So I'm going to create a curve there in her pose. These two I will focus on later. I'll just show you these to begin with. Okay, so then we have we actually have 4 ties here, so you can choose between those. So you can create whatever body shape you wanted. Also, if you would like to go even bigger, you can do that just by overlining, but still use the stamp as a guideline. So there we go. And then the lower part, I'd say I'll create a long leg. So this one is just a simple standing, not doing much pose. The feet are underneath. So I have created these ballerina pumps. They can be dressed up with some bows, or you can draw hills in there if you wanted to. But again, just a really easy starting point. And then for the arms, let's see, I'm going to use this part here and this part, so I'm not going to give her too long of an arm. If you wanted a longer arm, then find longer bits here. So the arms are just hanging down like that. And here are the arms, or the hands rather. Okay, so that's one body shape. I will line everything out so you'll get a better idea, but for now we're just playing around creating these body shapes. And what else? So for this one I'm going to go for the other type, which is right next to it. And what we're going to do is just be a bit more playful this time. So I am going to overlap them, and I'll show you how you can do that later in terms of what you can create. And then in terms of her leg, I kind of feel like giving her super long lower leg, so I'm going to go and pick this part. And I'm going to just, as you can see, they're not meant to be realistic. They're meant to be playful and stylized. So already we have created something that was quite easy and quick to create, but it's already starting to look interesting. And this one goes that way. Now arms, I might think of a longer arm here, just to play with the proportions again. So this arm is going to, you can see it's a bigger arm, so wider than that one. And you can see where this arm would end if you placed it there. So I think I'm going to go for the same lower part, because otherwise it'd be a bit too long. It's so fun to play with the proportions, and you can see because her body is tilted, this arm is ending up where her knees are. Oops, I should have done it on both arms. So this one is going to hold her hip, or like rest the hand on the hip. And now the hands. There we go, so she kind of does this on her hip. I'll show you close-ups because probably this ink is harder to see things in, but here's the first one. Here is the second one, and it's a bit confusing just yet because her hip pops out a little bit and her torso goes to the side, and then there's a crossover with the legs. But once we line things out, it will make more sense. And then let's do the side bodies as well. So for the side bodies, we have like a smaller size version. And I could put her here. So at this point you could rotate it. In fact, let me show you the rotation bit. So you could rotate it this way. And then, of course, I would have to use this part for the bum. So she has a smaller chest, bigger bum. Again, that's a good play on different body shapes. And then I will go for the, obviously bigger bum would make sense, a bigger upper part of the leg. And I would do a bit of a sassy pose. So I'm going to go like that. And also the back leg. Now what you could do if you wanted to avoid overlapping, you could just use your finger, and that way you won't have any overlapping. So that behind leg is hiding, obviously. And then you have an option here for all these legs. Let's go with this one here. Do we use it already? So she'll have long lower leg. You could also go for a short one. So here we're going to go in like that. And then again, just clean off this edge and you have it like that. And then let's do the feet. So the feet at this point really doesn't matter. You could create what you wanted. You could flip her foot like that. You could go like this, because they're kind of facing that way. And let's do this body now. So this one has a bigger chest. Let's do bigger chest and smaller bum. So we're going to rotate it upside down. And let's tilt it just ever so slightly, like she's trying to, you know, bring her bust out. These have been sort of inspired on the 50s models and, you know, the whole Marilyn Monroe, that type of an era. I actually wrote a dissertation on the 50s cinematography, and so it was a very big subject of interest for me. So that one will bring the bum out. So do the opposite to this one. So this one is kind of, you know, going that way. This one is going this way. great description. And then let's do the leg. So again, smaller bum would probably mean a smaller thigh. And here I would probably, let's just see, I mean, I'm going to go straight, just straight down and just overlap the legs here like that. So there's no need for me to create a second one of those. Just keep it nice and simple. And I'll give her a super long lower leg. So one goes straight down and one will go like that, so she flicks it out. Onto the feet now, and the feet I would use the other one, just the same foot. Like that. Arms, we haven't done actually arms on here, so let's see. Yeah, I'm going to do the smaller arm on both of them. So this one is going back like that. I'll just do one arm, assuming that the other arm is doing exactly the same. But you could also stamp, you know, different posture on the arm behind, because that would mean that she's just creating, you know, different poses and things like that, which would just make it a bit more different, more detailed, more complicated. I'm trying to keep things simple here. So here we're just going to rest this arm on her bum, and she's doing the same here. Or maybe she's not actually. She's just waving her arm behind her. Let's do something a bit more different. So she's reaching out with that arm. Actually, it would be nice to reach out the other arm here. I might do that. So in that case, let me just finish the hand on this side. Like that. And then I would need another block for the same arm. So what I would do is just, this is where it would start on the other side, so I'm just going to take off the ink that I don't need, and then when you do this, I promise the world just stops. It's so therapeutic. You become really focused on this building aspect, and like this is the first base level that you need to do, and after that begins the creative part of lining things out and thinking about what you want to come in the foreground, thinking of what you want to go into the background. So I showed you how to do a cleaner version when you overlap things, and that will be easier for you later when you are drawing out, so it's less confusing. But if you have a situation where there is a bit of an overlap here and there, I'll show you what to do as well with that.